In this Blogging 101 segment, let's take a look at why you should seriously consider blogging. Because blogging, even though there's a lot to it and there's a lot of moving parts and it does take time, there's a lot of reasons why you'd want to consider seriously blogging and getting involved in it. First of all, let's look at what some of the experts say. Chris Brogan, by the way, who's the founder of New Marketing Labs, has chimed in with this great statement: no matter what, the very first piece of social media real estate I start with is a blog. Now, he's seen it because he's been a blogger. He's seen other people start with blogs and how they can be very, very effective, and he's helped people start blogs. And it's just one of those things that he's had great experience in, along with other folks too. And I think that seeing what an expert has to say about it is also very, very important. So let's take a look at, for instance, what some of the blogging challenges are. And there are a number of blogging challenges that you should consider before you get involved. So you know what the playing field's really like before you get out and start actually playing ball, so to speak. So first of all, one of the main challenges is, yes, it does take time and it does take commitment. You've got to prepare yourself that this is not one of those efforts that is just going to be a now and then type of thing. You have to make a commitment to it, and you have to realize what kind of time it takes. Now, the amount of time it takes is really kind of up to you, because you determine how active your blog is going to be. I would say this, though, that when you do get involved and you say, gosh, I'm going to do one post a week, maybe two or three a month, that if it can start to build over time, and you may find that it is very effective, and the time commitment may increase as you move into this challenge. Another challenge is creating content is not always easy. You've got to have something there. It's like a 24-hour news machine. If you're ever from a radio or TV background like I am, you know that there's always something that's got to be fed to the beast. Now, a blog is not quite the beast that a 24-hour news machine is, but you still have to be able to create content on a fairly regular basis, and different kinds of content. Blog posts, videos, perhaps podcasts, guest posts, and coordinating all that, managing all that. It does take time, and it's not always easy to create content. You can't just sit down and come up with a blog post off the top of your head sometimes. Some people are natural at it, other people are not. Again, if you start a blog, your traffic will start slowly. You can't build something online and expect it to happen quickly and have a lot of people seeing your blog. So the first 6 months, the first 8 months, maybe even more, you're going to find yourself with not that many readers or viewers. And so you have to realize that as you get into it, that some of the challenges just take a while to build your blog. And again, traffic does start slowly with most blogs. It is a marketing effort, but it is, unlike other marketing efforts, there is no start or end date. Well, there's a start date, the day you start your blog, but let's compare it to, say, a trade show where you're going to be there for 3 or 4 days, you're launching a product, or a typical product launch. You typically have a start and stop date for that particular marketing effort, and so a lot of energy is concentrated on that particular time frame. It could be a couple of days for a trade show, it could be a month product launch. If it's a book launch, for instance, you may be marketing it for 6 months. Whatever your plan is, it's usually got a start and stop date. Blogging does not have an end date. It's not like other marketing efforts. It's just this ongoing thing. So you have to realize that it is an open-ended commitment from that angle. In a blog, you have to write in a conversational type of approach. Now, not everyone can do that. In fact, a lot of people find that unnatural. They may be great at writing press releases or news releases. They may be great at crafting slogans or information or writing technical data. But writing a blog post is different. People go to a blog to get short bits of information, 300, 400 to 500 words, 700 words. If it gets much longer than that, it gets a little too much for people to want to read in one sitting. So often blog posts that are longer than that are broken up and posted in 2 or 3 different segments. But it is a challenge for a lot of people to write conversationally, and that is what people like to see in blogs. If you have a lot of employees that you'd like to get involved in your blog, you've got to realize that not all of them may represent the brand. They may have different viewpoints, they may have different attitudes, and you turn them loose with a keyboard and a blog, they may not actually represent the brand very well. So this is one of the considerations that you have when it comes to blogging challenges. There are times, it's probably not a huge concern, but there are times when a blogger may become more popular than the company itself. One case that I can think of is years ago, there was a gentleman by the name of Robert Scoble who was a Microsoft employee. He started a blog in a particular area of technology that he was working in. And the blog became very, very popular. So popular that he ended up leaving Microsoft, from what I understand, and now has his own company, has his own blog, which is quite popular. He actually became more popular than the companies, that particular aspect of the company itself. And there's been other examples of that as well. So it's one of those things that you have to understand that sometimes the blogger may be so good that they can no longer be a part of your company. With a blog, sometimes you have a challenge measuring success. Is it the number of readers you have? Is it the amount of traffic you get? Is it the comments you get on your particular blog posts? Is it the number of sales that come through as a result of you having a blog? Is it feedback from clients? There's a lot of different ways you can measure success, and you may not know the exact way to measure your success. With a blog, sometimes it's difficult. And so you have to kind of realize this up front, that you have to figure out what is most important to you in your blogging efforts. So how do you measure success? So now the question is, why blog? Well, there are some good reasons to blog. There's a lot of upside, and it's not as difficult as you might think. I've been laying the groundwork for all the challenges, but believe it or not, there are actually a lot of reasons to be blogging. For instance, it gives you a great platform. This is something you own. It's not Facebook, it's not YouTube, it's not LinkedIn, it's not Twitter. It is your blog. It is kind of your home base, and you control the way it looks, the way it feels, the way it acts. You control it because it is your platform, and you can make whatever statements you want on your platform. And that is an important consideration in today's day and age about how to reach consumers and prospects online. Blogging lends itself to networking in a lot of different ways. Blogging, for instance, lets you reach out to people that you otherwise would not have reached out to. It gives you an excuse to contact people that you may not have otherwise had an excuse to contact with. People will find you also. Not only can you reach out, but people will reach out to you. It's happened to me in a number of ways with the Trade Show Guy blog. Networking is a great side effect, I guess I should say, of blogging, and it is a really valuable one. Learning. Now this is what I find interesting about blogging, is that when you are a blogger, you tend to want to write about things that you may not know a lot about. Or you may know a little bit about, but you may not know enough about to write a blog post. But to write an effective blog post, you have to do research. You have to learn, you have to talk to people, you have to read a lot. So one of the aspects of blogging is that you tend to learn a lot. And as you learn a lot, you become more valuable to not only your blog, but also to your company if you're working for a company, and to those people that are reading you. So you are often seen as an expert because of the amount of information you've learned because you're a blogger. It's one of those kind of circular things that works really, really well with blogging. Also, it helps you become a better writer. If you're not that great of a writer, but you're good enough to start a blog, over time you will become a better writer, because the more you write, the more you understand how to reach those bloggers, the information you get back, the feedback you get back, and plus the fact that you tend to write regularly, you'll become better at it. So that's one good reason to blog, is you become a better writer. It helps to put a human face on your company. And this is very important because many, many companies have only this sort of brand or logo that people see, and they don't see the people behind the company. If you can show the blogosphere, your clients, your customers, your prospects, what kind of company you really are, show the human face behind that, you become more likable to them, and they are more willing to go to bat for you and support your brand. So having a blog helps companies show the human side of the company. It also helps you build community. A lot of people can do this on Facebook, but again, Facebook is a little different format. Community is really, really conducive to blogging, and it helps you build that community of people that like what you read, people that want to learn from you, people that want to contribute to your blog or contribute to the thought process and offer comments. A blog is a great place for all of that gathering to take place, and that is how you build community. You also can create value by being who you are. You know, you may have a lot of stuff to say, but if you don't have a blog, and you don't have a great way to get all that information out there. Now, you can go out and speak in public, but if you speak at a trade show, for instance, and I would recommend you do that, you're only reaching maybe 50 people, 75 people, 150 people, whoever are at that particular event, and you only do it one time. But if you record that video, for instance, and put it on your blog, then thousands of people can be exposed to that. So you're creating value by being who you are. More people can see who you are and what your thought processes are, and there's a great value to that. A blog allows you to share a fresh perspective. You may have a perspective on something going on in your industry that other people don't have. Having a blog gives you a great platform, again, there's that word, to share that perspective. You can tell your story. You may have a very unusual story about how your company came to be, or how a product came to be, or how various people in your company gathered to be able to create this thing that you've got going on. It's a great place to tell various aspects of that story. Again, you don't want to toot your horn too much, because your blog really should be about your readers and their problems and how you can help them out. But there are certainly opportunities to tell your story within that aspect. It's a great place to contribute your knowledge. You've got information that maybe other people don't have. You can share that knowledge on how to do things, inside information that other people may not know. A blog is, again, a great place to share all of that. If you have a blog, you will find yourself gaining a lot of visibility online. Google loves blogs. It's true. A blog gets a lot more traffic. In fact, from what I understand, from most recent research, a website with a blog gets about 55% more traffic than a website with no blog, because Google loves blogs. The reason they love blogs, by the way, is because blogs typically are updated very often, and Google comes back, and so you get a lot more organic traffic, people searching for specific keywords and terms that find your blog. You can also collect useful information. You can do surveys. You can start newsletters and disseminate them through blogs, which allows you to, again, interact with people and collect useful information.